That's pretty amazing. I'm not going to read her speech again. Hey, so I have the pleasure now of presenting a good friend, a special recognition, Suave Gonzalez. Suave, before you come up. He's going to be receiving tonight the Catalyst of Creativity Award. Suave, the first thing I did when, besides Googling you, was in preparation was to look at something that I had actually seen before. He had quote said, "I use art as a tool to break down the fear and chaos of my environment with the hope of creating a kinder world." Suave grew up in the South Bronx and enjoys recalling New York City as his place of graffiti and igniting the fire in him for the love of art. And you'll notice his New York hat, which is green, PD green, of course. As a teen, Suave was sentenced to life without parole in a maximum security facility. Like many, including myself, art became a coping mechanism for his escape of the harsh realities inside of prison. Suave used what he had from brushes, crayons, pencils, and I imagine ramen noodles as well, to do what he could to make art while he was away. Suave's living proof of the importance of education in incarceration, as he earned his BA from Villanova University and dedicated his life and work to transforming the lives of others and really having an impact on those that he touches. Since Suave's release, he's done some remarkable things. 2014 TEDx Talk, 2018 Philadelphia TEDx, 2018 Reimagining Reentry Fellow through the Mural Arts Program, nonetheless. Co-host of the Ivory Tower to the Street, a Justice Conversation and podcast, and the Death by Incarceration podcast, which I happen to be on at some point in time. He works as a success coach at Community College of Philadelphia. But most remarkably, in 2022, Suave was awarded and was the first formerly incarcerated individual who I guess was serving a life sentence that was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in auto recording. Suave was described by the Pulitzer judge as a brutally honest and immersive profile of a man re-entering society after serving more than 30 years in prison. In a recent interview that Suave gave, he said it best when he stated, "I got all my education while I was in prison. It prepared me for a better life. Once I understood that education was the only thing no one could take away from me, I fell in love with it. I began seeing it as the way to save Black and brown men from ending up in prison as well. It is my privilege to present this award to Suave Gonzalez, Catalyst Creativity Award, on behalf of the PD Green Program."
Good search, bro. But first, I just want to thank the one person that I really owe my art career to. That's Jane Golden. A lot of people don't know that I was in Bradford prison, and the prison banned the media from coming in. So we decided to get Jane up to SCI Grad School and convince her that we deserve a chance to paint a mural outside the city limits. And we painted the mural, we kept delaying it, and James said, "Why you don't finish this mural?" I said, "Because if we do, you might not come back." Because a lot of time people go into the prisons, take the ideas and the program and leave. And she was like, "Y'all gotta finish this project." So we finished the project, and then she bought another project for a school. We finished that one too, and then the artist left the mural in the van, and the van got stolen with the mural. So we told Jane, "Don't panic, don't worry about it. We gonna get it done." And we got that second mural done in less than a week. We did it. Because I thought it was important, and the guys in SCI Grad School thought it was important, that we have to do that because it was going to a school in our community. And we wanted to send a message that we could do this. You know, my journey began when I was 17, incarcerated. I went to jail with an IQ of 56. I didn't know how to read and write. I ended up in solitary confinement. Another gentleman showed me how to read and write. I used to give him cupcakes. He used to give me words. So I told him when I get out solitary confinement, I'm gonna get my GED. I tried 7 times. I got it. I don't do math, so I got it calculated today. So got my GED, enrolled in a college program. I didn't know it was part-time studies. Took me 16 years to get my BA because it was part-time study. But in my mind, I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. Got a life, I might just get it completed. And people used to laugh at me. Why you want that education for? And I used to tell them, because if that door opened one day, I want to be ready.
Yes, yes.
That door opened for me. That door opened for me on November 20th, 2017. My anniversary coming up, right? And when I got out, my first job was crazy. Was working at the 25th District as a case manager. And I looked around and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. I mean, it was a great job, but it wasn't for me. I wasn't ready for it. And then I discovered the phone, learned how to work it. Took me like 6 phones. And then I discovered this thing called podcasting. I started reading about it. I left my job and took a job with a radio station somewhere in Kensington in a warehouse. And I told the guy I work for free. I just want to learn the system. And then I started recording my story. I started putting it down because I believe that nobody should be telling my story. I own my own narrative. I learned that from Jane Golden when she used to tell us we got to do community meetings. And she used to bring all these people in and have us do these community meetings. So I said, I want to do my own story. And people used to tell me, nobody want to hear another prison story. I said, it's not another prison story, it's my story.
Absolutely.
So I recorded it, we recorded it, the pandemic hit, my production team was panicked. I'm like, chill, man, we good. We released the first episode, it was like 50 listeners. I'm thinking this is major, oh my God, 50 listeners. Our second episode had 150 million listeners. You heard it right, 150 million. And then people started calling, NSNBC, NBC. I was like, what the heck going on? So one day I'm in my office at community college and I see the president, I see the vice president. I'm saying, oh, I'm about to get fired. Something's going down because I had a job before where they hired me, then they went into the background, oh, you've been incarcerated, we got to rescind the offer. I was like, oh, here we go again. They tell me, have you watched CNN? I said, no, not lately. I ain't been on the news lately. They was like, you should put it on. I was like, no, for what? You just won a Pulitzer Prize. I was like, okay, what is it? What is that? I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know I was being nominated for it. That's the beauty of it. When I did my podcast, I did it because I wanted to send a message to people that juveniles do not belong in prison with grown folks. That's the message I wanted to send. I wasn't chasing no wall. I didn't even know what a Pulitzer was. A month later, I get a phone call. You just won the Ideator Award, which is like the equivalent of an Oscar for podcasting. And I'm like, okay, what is it? Now I'm researching. I got my students helping me. But I'm saying that to say this. Somebody gave me an opportunity. Her name is Maria Hinojosa. She believed in me. World-class journalists say, you could do this. You don't need me. You could do this. The same way that old man that I ain't even seen his face for 10 years in solitary confinement showed me how to read, he gave me an opportunity to see the world different. Because when I learned how to read in prison, I wasn't in prison. Physically I was, but my mind was free. I was free. And people laughed like, you want to learn how to read as an old man? Yes. Because now I can read the letters my mother wrote me. Now I can write people back. Now I probably could get out of jail. And in the process, I became a pretty good writer. Because I was ghostwriting for writers that you probably read their books. And then I wrote 5 of my own. And while in prison. All while in prison. But I still wanted more. When people was telling me you would never get out of prison, you are going to die in prison. I used to tell them all, let's see. Because in the prison, they had this thing where when you die, they put your picture up. They used to call it the wall of shame. And I was like, I ain't gonna be in that wall. Ignorance put me in prison. Education is gonna get me out.
Come on now.
And people laugh. I said, I traveled the country today. I've been to probably every major college today. And I always tell people I got my education in prison, Villanova University. They was like, you got that in prison? Yes. Yes. There's nothing wrong with it. It don't matter where you get educated at. As long as you get it. To me, it don't matter. I got it. What the Philadelphia public school and the New York public school couldn't do, prison did for me, which gave me an education. And if it wasn't for my education, I would not be here today. I would not be. Like I was telling Jeff, sometimes we come out of prison, we want to get away from that label. Because there's always you formerly this, formerly that. I'm not. I am proud to stand up here today and tell you, yes, I am a formerly incarcerated person, and I am the first formerly incarcerated lifer to get a Pulitzer Prize. The door is open. Who's next?